So this morning I'd like to talk about a couple of things, and rather than have you only have to look at me, which isn't any fun, I'm going to set this up so you can watch the dogs while we talk. Okay, a couple of things. These pups, this is Rosie. She's going to go to her owner soon, but these are the 4-month-old pups. Two of the owners, new owners of these pups don't know the pups. One of the couple that locally that's buying two of them came over yesterday to work with the pups for the first time. The other buyer is in Idaho, and she is rabidly read and watched every video and read every blog, so she's well prepared. But neither of those people have training history with these dogs. And in watching the folks that were here yesterday, there were some things that occurred to me that I could do a better job of supporting people and understanding. So that's what prompts me to do this work now. So, one is leash work. So, people that have had companion dogs, which is pretty much all of us, are used to controlling those dogs. They're used to, companion dogs are often taught to heel, they're taught to look you in the eye, they're taught to stay close, they're taught to be right here. And in handling my guard dogs, I've taught them differently. I've taught them that I want them to own their ground. So from the very beginning, I want them to leave me and go forward. So I'm following them more of the time. I don't want to direct them as much as I want them to go forth as explorers, and you've seen that in the videos. For people that are new to the puppies, new to me, under my scrutiny, being watched by a camera that therefore there is going to be shared publicly with YouTube, that's pretty imposing, and it's difficult to be in the moment, train the dogs that you're looking at without bringing in all the history that you have about heel and sit and stay and all that stuff, because those are old tapes that play easily, and it's like a default for you. It's a memory, muscle memory, it's all that stuff. So even though I'm talking to someone and telling them what I need from them, when three things happen at once, those people are going to default to what they're familiar with and what has worked in the past for companion dogs. I struggled yesterday with how to make it make sense to these folks, because there's so much of it with the guardian dogs that is almost pivotally opposite of what you do with companion dogs. And people can't really know that unless you have some experience with the dogs. And if you have had experience with guardian dogs and then had experience with my guardian dogs, that can be different, because the way that I program these dogs in their early weeks is really different. So when they leave me, they leave at a different point than a person that sells an 8-week-old puppy that then is trained by the new owner and whatnot. So one of the things that came up a bunch that I really want to talk about is the purpose of a leash in terms of guardian dogs. To me, the purpose of a leash is a safety line. I bet you 5% of the time do I use it to direct a dog. If I have to use this to direct a dog, unless it's a strange circumstance, I've done something wrong. So think about it this way. If you're out in the pasture with the dog, and you want that dog's attention, how are you going to get it? If you want that dog to walk with you in a pasture, how are you going to get that? Are you going to have to go get a leash and a collar, and is that your only opportunity or your only means of communicating what you want from that dog? That's a bad thing. That's not what you want. So what I have with these dogs that's an advantage is I have training history. They understand my body language. They understand the circumstances when I ask them to go with me. So I've got a head start on that from buyers of the pups, because they have to start from the beginning with it. So remember that body language is how dogs talk to each other, not voice. So you can use enticing little noises a little bit, but really the biggest message to the dog about I want you to come with me is my body. It's either my upright, we got this posture and I'm marching off and I'm hoping that the little guy follows me, or it's me adding energy. Hey puppy, I'm the greatest game in the world. Don't you want to go with me? Don't you want to go with me? Yeah. If I want movement, I may need to add energy. So I do silly stuff with the puppies, and they think that life is a big game, and I want them to continue to think that. Sometimes I'll pat my leg. Sometimes I'll use my fingers. These dogs have all done clicker training and have been treated from our hands. So oftentimes showing them my hand will entice the dog to take a step or two. And the minute he takes a step or two, I'm going to walk the other way and say, all right, let's go. If the dog leaves me, I have the leash and I can stop him. And if it's on a front attachment harness, it'll turn the dog kind of sideways. The dog looks over his shoulder like, what is this? I ran into something that's immovable. That gives me a split second to catch the eye of that dog and say, look at this, won't you want to come play with me? This is wonderful. And they do. So that's easy to teach with the dogs at liberty in a pasture. It's easy to take advantage of natural behaviors of the dog. So if you walk into the field and the dogs are happy to see you and they're coming to you, you can attach some body language and verbal stuff to the behavior the dog is already giving you. So if I walk out, you walk out, new dogs, you go out in the morning and they see you and they're wagging their tails and they're coming up, you can go, yay puppy, let's go, yay puppy, woohoo. The next time you're on leash and you do that, yay puppy, woohoo, they go, oh yeah, we're going this way. It's that simple. So think Pavlov's dog. Think how to tie what you want to the behavior that you want. So if you want the dog to go forward and you are happy and forward, he's looking at you and he's going, that's what that means. That's easy. So my body language is different. The way that I work with the dogs is different. They will adapt to what the new owners need. But as much commonality as you can have in the first days and hours and whatnot to what they're used to will assist them in making that transition more smoothly. Don't attach to my dogs and drag them. Don't pull them through a gate. Don't direct them with a leash to go somewhere unless there's just not any other way. And there's almost always another way. I will reach down and put my hand under the barrel of the pup and turn it the way I want and then pat my leg and they'll go with me. This is a safety line. That's all it is. 99.2% of the time, that's your goal. Use your body, your energy, your posture, your position to the dog. Use all of those things to help your dog understand when you'd like him to go with you so that when you don't have a leash, you still have the dog going with you. It's really pretty easy.